I mean, I picked Washington to win, but I don't know if I expected that to happen.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
Well, Michigan State had a couple of options, right? When they hit the field at Spartan Stadium on Saturday against Washington, they could have come out motivated, inspired, looking to prove the doubters like me wrong that said that they are just going to get wiped off the field. Distractions, all that, you put it together and it's the perfect storm for Washington to have a day, well, like they ended up having. And the other option was what exactly happened. Is Washington utterly dominating Michigan State? Now, I just want to get this out of the way. Washington is a fantastic football team. Washington is one of the very best teams in a loaded Pac-12. Washington is a team that could very well make it to the college football playoff. I love everything about Washington, and I want to adopt them into the Big Ten, and I want to claim them as our own right now. I really want to, but maybe I can't just yet, unfortunately. Let's talk about Michigan State. When they can't run the football, they're not going to have success. I said it in the preseason, and I continue to believe it. And Washington had to know that coming in. No Jalen Berger in this game, so you didn't have a second option at running back. Nathan Carter couldn't really get anything going. This offensive line couldn't get anything going in the run game. It was very easy for the Huskies defensively. Their game plan was very simple. We stopped the run game. Noah Kim, although he put up good numbers against Richmond, an FCS team, he's not a good quarterback. I really don't think he is. If you put the ball into his hands, he's not going to go out you and win you a football game. This Michigan State team is going to be successful if their offensive line can get a push, if they can do well, and if they can take heat off of the passing game, and Noah Kim and the passing game can play off a solid and effective run game. The exact opposite happened, and the result is what you got on Saturday. I really worry for Michigan State going forward because you've got this tumultuous time with these distractions off the field. We don't know what the future really holds for Michigan State. You're trying to just piece everything together. You're trying to put duct tape and Band-Aids on this situation. And coming into this season, I think you were kind of doing that late in the spring, to be honest with you, when Peyton Thorne and Keon Coleman hit the bricks. It's like, okay, we got to figure something out to try to piece this together. When those two guys, specifically Keon Coleman, transferred out and you didn't have a great opportunity or a ton of time with all the deadlines to replace him, Michigan State was in a precarious situation. Now, I thought I was giving them the benefit of the doubt of the preseason. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt where it says, okay, their offensive line looks like it's going to be better. You got two solid running backs back there that can run the football. But now the more I kind of look at Michigan State, the more I see how a bowl game could be in danger right now. Now, it's one game. I try to take pride on not overreacting. I try not to feed into that and not overreact. Sometimes, I'll admit, sometimes I do. And sometimes I get into that and a couple weeks later, sometimes it burns me. But right now, it's hard not to. It's hard not to look at this game in kind of two different ways and say, boy, Michigan State does not look good. But it's also hard not to look at this game and say how really, really good Washington is. I think what's going to happen in the next few weeks will really tell us. I think we got Maryland next, and that's going to be a challenge. I can bet pretty strongly that Michigan State is going to be the underdog in that game against the Terps. And I think you got Iowa on the schedule. Like, after these first two games, the schedule continued to get tougher. It started with Washington, and it's going to continue to get tougher and with all of the off the field, especially as we get closer to that October hearing. These things are going to get even more difficult. There's going to be more noise outside the program. It's going to be up to this interim staff. God, I never thought I'd say this at the beginning of the season. It's up to maybe Mark D'Antonio to maybe keep these guys together and focused and try to get them to improve, there's just a lot of things right now for Michigan State. I'm very curious where they go from here. We know the Noah Kim, Caton Hauser battle was talked about a lot during the preseason. We'll see if Caton gets a shot. I don't think, judging off of this Washington game, that he's going to automatically get a shot next week. I think it's going to take a couple of Big Ten games before we really get to that point. This Washington game really highlighted that the secondary is still in trouble for Michigan State, even though this is probably the best passing attack in all of college football. But the game plan was so easy for Washington. Stop the run, throw it around the yard. And that's exactly what happened, and look what happened. All right, enough negativity. I just don't want to talk about Michigan State anymore, right? I don't want to. I want to talk about Washington. Washington Huskies, man, Michael Penix Jr. Remember 2021 and that season where he was banged up at Indiana, and a lot of people are saying that 2020 season was a fluke? Yeah, where are those people now? He looks to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. And the talent that they have on the outside, man, they got talent. Man, they got great talent, from McMillan to Odunze to Polk to Jeremy Bernard, the former Michigan State Spartan. I will say this, right? Well, with the departure of Keon Coleman, leaving a gaping hole at the receiver position for Michigan State, I'm not saying Jeremy Bernard would have been like Keon Coleman, but I think he would have been the number one wide receiver on this team and maybe would have helped them out a little bit. But he's doing just fine with the Dogs from Seattle. But this is a Washington team that I absolutely love. When I look at all of the really good teams in the Pac-12, I think right now, kind of watching these West Coast teams, especially the ones we're getting next year from a distance, Washington might be the best one. Washington might be the best one out of those four right now. And I am extremely excited to see what the Huskies can do. I like what they did on defense here today. It's going to be fun, really, really fun to watch them throughout. Michael Penix is just, his mobility gives him an added element. I think when you look at like Washington versus teams like an Oregon or a USC in this conference, I think hands down they have the best wide receivers and playmakers. I think they might be number 2 to only Ohio State, and that might start to be a discussion when you talk about the best wide receiving group in all of college football. Folks, watch out for the Huskies. They're going to be ours next year. Unfortunately, I don't think we can or should at least claim them this season. But when you look back at this thing for Michigan State, there's a lot of work to do. It's not going to get more difficult per se than Washington, because Washington's a great team. But it is still going to be a challenge and an uphill climb for Michigan State to maybe get to bowl eligibility. I want to hear your thoughts on this game. I don't want to be too much of a Debbie Downer right now, and I know it's only one game, but I'm kind of looking at all of the pieces right now that are lining up for Michigan State. And I don't see a lot of positivity with this program right now, with all the things that have happened as of late. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.